The world we live in can be a terrifying place. Whilst the root of many fears stem from our own human behaviour, some elements of our existence are just inarguably difficult. Natural disasters are one such thing. The ability to ruin lives, wreak havoc, and completely upturn what one knows is truly terrifying. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be taking a look at 3 recent earthquake warnings, fears, or even inklings of suspicion that have been voiced. Ring of fire activity sparks earthquake fears. There are some places on our planet that are, unfortunately, more prone to disaster than others. Perhaps the most dangerous of all these places has earned itself the nickname the Ring of Fire, as a result of its renowned reputation. This is a path along the Pacific Ocean that is particularly prone to natural disasters. Along this so-called Ring of Fire is a host of active volcanoes, and the alignment of the tectonic plates means that this ring sees the majority of the earthquakes on Earth too. In 2018, researchers began to pick up on a number of earthquakes affecting areas nearby to this geological terror zone, namely Japan, Guam, and Taiwan. However, research conducted in California, which has also seen its fair share of natural disasters, suggests that there may be aftershocks that continue to affect the area, due to the tremors seemingly coming in multiples. What is even more concerning is the belief that this smaller seismic activity has the capability to be building to something significantly larger. This Californian study took a sample of 101 major earthquakes recorded in the area surrounding the Pacific Ring of Fire over a 26-year period, from 1990 to 2016. The research was published in the scientific journal Science Advances and provided some insight in the impact of aftershock activity following earthquakes. Earthquakes are most often caused when tectonic plates meet one another. The movement becomes too great, and then the excess energy is released as a shockwave, in turn causing the earthquake. We have long been acting upon the assumption, despite there being statistical inconsistencies when we have looked at relevant seismic data, that an area in that has recently seen a slip in the tectonic plates is more likely to experience a second slip soon after, meaning multiple earthquakes are somewhat likely to occur in the same area within a reasonable amount of time to one another. The reality seems to be a little more complex. As opposed to the residual stress on the fault line, the fracture along which the initial slip first occurred, the ongoing impact is on the surrounding areas, which with each nearby earthquake are being pushed increasingly closer to failure themselves. This is what results in aftershocks, adjacent ruptures, and the clustered nature in which earthquakes tend to occur. This pattern has been observed in Taiwan, Guam, and Japan. Whilst they are far from one another in relation to static stress interactions, the seismic shaking has had an ongoing impact, eventually reaching each of these impacted areas. Prior to this analysis, a lot of our understanding, even the elements of which were deemed to be correct, were highly speculative. The ongoing research seems to suggest that the most likely predictor for the location of the next earthquake is the surrounding area, because of the initial shock. We are yet to develop a technology that can inform us how big this will be. So while we can be wary, we are yet to know if this may be an indicator of a significant threat or a slight continuation. It's very much ongoing research. The technology that is being developed here has the potential to save lives, giving much greater evacuation time in the event of disasters. Japan warns of impending megaquake as large as one that caused Fukushima meltdown. Japan is unfortunately a prime area for earthquakes and similar natural disasters. The convergence of multiple oceanic tectonic plates under the surface of the country makes it particularly vulnerable. And with time continuing to move up since the last large disaster has left the country in devastation, it's only a matter of time before another megaquake wreaks havoc. There are approximately 1,500 earthquakes that impact Japan every year, and most are limited to shakes and tremors. Sometimes it's more unfortunate, however. Lives can be ruined, and homes can be lost. In the summer of 2022, Tatsuya Tanaka and his team undertook emergency drills as part of the preparations in the anticipation of a megaquake that may hit in the near future. Run by Tokyo's Fire Rescue Task Force, these drills have life-saving implications and need to be carefully run through to ensure the team can have the maximum effect when the time is needed. The team were running through a scenario in which they needed to enter a home nearly encapsulated entirely by a landslide. This procedure involved introducing metal supports and conducting a rescue mission of a hypothetical trapped victim. 3 to 4 times each month, teams just like this conduct drills in a training facility on the outskirts of the city, both helping keep first responders prepared for a multitude of scenarios that may arise during a time of crisis, and serving as a harrowing reminder just how frightening these disasters can be. As the architecture and systems within the country are designed to be beneficial in the event of disasters, these drills are an important part of the emergency services within a country so vulnerable to natural disasters of this proportion. 34-meter tsunami may hit Indonesia in megaquake. We can anticipate and prepare for the inevitable earthquakes that are eventually likely to hit certain areas. This technology is continuing to evolve, and as of November 2022, there are some details that we are able to gather to a staggering specificity. It has been predicted that a tsunami reaching up to 34 meters in height could follow an earthquake of an 8.9 magnitude, affecting the Java and Sumatra Indonesian islands. A research team has observed high levels of seismic activity along the coastal areas of these islands, indicating the possibility of a megathrust category earthquake. This was reported upon in the journal Natural Hazards, and whilst there was no timeline offered to the eventuality of this, it's understood that this is a somewhat inevitable event to occur. This has the potential to be comparable to that of the 2004 earthquake that left 180,000 people dead, having hit Sumatra. A disaster of this scale would be devastating no matter when it occurs. Though separate studies seem to indicate that an earthquake of this scale can be expected in this area every 500 years. The researchers were able to use data from several earthquakes that occurred between 2009 and 2020 to predict a magnitude of 4 or higher, along with an analysis of more than 1,000 epicenters for the potential tsunami. This inevitability is truly terrifying. We can only hope that increased awareness like this can help lead to further preparedness, in turn saving more lives. There are so many hardships that we face within our lives, and the advancement of technology is a double-edged sword. We can only hope that the continued development of science can be applied in beneficial ways. But what are your thoughts on these discoveries? Be sure to let us know in the comments section below and help us grow this community whilst working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.